The phone call came at 2:17 a.m. I know the exact time because I was staring at my alarm clock, trying to convince my brain that yes, someone was actually calling me at this ungodly hour. And no, it wasn't a dream. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand, squinting at the screen. Mom. My stomach dropped. Nobody calls at 2 a.m. with good news. I answered. Mom? What's wrong? Owen! Her voice was shrill, panicked. Oh God, Owen, you need to help. It's Cody. I sat up, fully awake now. What happened? Is he okay? He collapsed. He's in the hospital. They're saying, oh God, they're saying he needs immediate treatment, but we don't have the money. And slow down. What hospital? We need $15,000. Right now. They won't treat him without it, and he's suffering, Owen. He's in so much pain. Mom. What? Hospital. She didn't answer the question. That's when the first alarm bell went off in my head. Not a loud one, just a quiet ping of something's not right here. They need the money immediately, she continued, words tumbling over each other. Can you Venmo it? Or Zelle? We need it now, Owen. Your brother could… Let me talk to a doctor. There's no time. Then let me talk to Cody. He's unconscious. I rubbed my eyes. My brain was trying to catch up. Cody, hospital. $15,000, 2 in the morning. What hospital is he at? St. Mary's. But Owen, please, just send the money. Every second counts. I'll call St. Mary's directly. Talk to his doctor. Figure out what's going on. No, don't. They're busy. You'll just slow things down. Please, Owen. The alarm bell got louder. I'd heard this song before. Different lyrics. Same desperate melody. Where's Becca? I asked. Silence. Mom, where's Becca? She doesn't have that kind of money right now. I almost laughed. Becca. My older sister. Married to a surgeon. Living in a house that cost more than I'd make in 5 years. Driving a car that cost more than my first year of college. Becca didn't have $15,000? Her husband's a surgeon, Mom. They have expenses. The kid's private school, the mortgage. And I don't have expenses? You're single. You don't have kids. You work in tech. You make good money. So does Becca's husband. Owen, please. This isn't about Becca. This is about your brother. I took a breath. Tried to think clearly through the fog of sleep and adrenaline. 3 years ago, same thing. Emergency call. Becca needs bail money. Turned out she'd gotten a parking ticket. Not jail, not arrested. A parking ticket that could have waited until morning. 2 years ago. Dad's car broke down 3 states away. Needs a tow. Turned out he was visiting his college buddy and wanted gas money he was too embarrassed to ask for normally. Last year. Cody's apartment flooded. Needs emergency housing money. He'd left a window open during a rainstorm and wanted me to pay for a hotel instead of staying with our parents. Every time it was urgent. Every time it was an emergency. Every time they called me. Never Becca. Because Becca was the golden child. The successful one. The one they bragged about at parties. And I was… What? The ATM with a guilt button? What's really going on, Mom? What? I just told you. Cody's in the hospital. Which hospital? Give me the name again. She hesitated, just for a second. But I heard it. St. Mary's? Which St. Mary's? There are 3 in the state. The main one. On Washington Street? Yes. No, I mean… Owen, why does it matter? Just send the money. Because if my brother is actually dying, I'll send an ambulance to pick me up so I can be there. But I need to know which hospital. You don't need to come, just send the money. Mom, if Cody is in the hospital, unconscious, in pain, needing $15,000 in immediate treatment, I'm coming. So tell me which hospital. Silence. Not the silence of someone thinking. The silence of someone caught. Put Dad on the phone, I said. He's asleep. Then wake him up. Owen. Or put Cody on the phone. I told you he's unconscious. Then put a nurse on, a doctor. Anyone who can verify what you're telling me. I can't just… They're busy. He's in emergency surgery. Which is it, Mom? Is he unconscious in a room or in emergency surgery? She made a sound like a tire deflating. And that's when I knew. This was bullshit, all of it. I'm going to call St. Mary's, I said calmly. All 3 locations. I'm going to ask if Cody Morrison has been admitted. And if he has, I'll talk to his doctor and figure out how to help. But I'm not sending $15,000 at 2 in the morning based on a phone call. Owen, your brother could die. Then you should call 911, not me. How can you be so cold? How can you lie to me at 2 in the morning? I'm not lying. Then you won't mind me verifying. You don't trust your own mother? I thought about that. Really thought about it. No, Mom, I don't. Not anymore. I heard her gasp, like I'd slapped her. Good night, I said. Owen, wait. I hung up, turned off my phone, and went back to sleep. You'd think I'd lie awake, consumed by guilt and what-ifs. But I didn't. Because I was tired. Not sleepy tired. Soul tired. Tired of being the responsible one. The reliable one. The one they called when they needed something but never when they just wanted to talk. I was the middle child in the most stereotypical way possible. Becca was the golden child. Firstborn, overachiever, lawyer, married young to a successful man. 2 kids who looked like they belonged in a Gap ad. A house in the suburbs with a 2-car garage and a dog named something insufferable like Biscuit. Cody was the baby, spoiled, coddled. 26 years old and still finding himself, which is code for hasn't held a job longer than 6 months and lives off mom and dad's generosity. And me? I was Owen, the forgotten middle, the one who didn't make waves, who got good grades but not perfect grades, who went to state school on scholarships because you're so smart you'll figure it out, while Becca got her law school paid for. I worked 2 jobs through college, graduated with a degree in computer science, got a job at a decent tech company, made decent money, lived in a decent apartment. I was fine, just fine. Not impressive enough to brag about. Not struggling enough to worry about. I existed in the space between their pride and their pity. The thing about being the middle child is that you become really good at reading rooms, at sensing when you're not wanted, not needed, not thought about. And my family had spent the last decade teaching me that I only mattered when they needed something. Becca's wedding? $30,000 affair, open bar, string quartet, destination bachelorette party in Napa. My parents paid for half of it. When I asked if they could help with my student loans, Dad laughed and said, "You make good money. You'll be fine." Cody's first business idea? Some crypto-adjacent app that made 0 cents and never launched. My parents gave him $25,000. It was supposed to be a loan. I'm still waiting to hear about a single payment back. When I asked to borrow $2,000 to fix my car after an accident, Mom said, "Can't you just Uber for a while?" I fixed the car myself. YouTube in spite. So when Mom called at 2 a.m. asking for $15,000 for Cody, yeah, I went back to sleep just fine. I woke up at 7 a.m. to my alarm, made coffee, checked my email, thought about going for a run. Then I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls, 89 text messages, 17 voicemails. I stared at the screen, took a sip of coffee, and started scrolling. Mom, 2:43 a.m. How can you do this? Your brother is suffering and you just hung up on me. Dad, 3:14 a.m. Call your mother back right now. This is unacceptable. We raised you better than this. Becca, 3:47 a.m. What is wrong with you? Mom is hysterical. Call me immediately, Aunt Linda, 4:31 a.m. Owen, your mother called me crying. Please help your brother. I opened one of the voicemails. Mom's voice, sobbing. I can't believe you'd abandon your brother like this. After everything we've done for you. You're so selfish, so cold. I don't even recognize you anymore. I deleted it. Opened another. Dad's voice, angry. You think you're so smart? So independent? You're just ungrateful. We put a roof over your head for 18 years and this is how you repay us? Deleted. Becca's voice, sharp. I don't know what's gotten into you, but you need to fix this. Mom's devastated, Cody's in trouble, and you're just… What? Ignoring us? Grow up, Owen. Deleted. I put the phone down. Finished my coffee, made breakfast. Eggs. Toast. Normal Saturday morning. My phone rang again. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Hello? Is this Owen Morrison? Male voice. Professional. Not family. Yes? This is Officer Martinez with the Metro Police Department. We need to ask you some questions about your brother, Cody Morrison. My stomach dropped. Oh God. Was he actually hurt? Was I the bastard? Is he okay? I asked, gripping the phone. He's fine, but there's been a situation. We'd like you to come down to the station to clarify some things. Am I in trouble? No, sir. We just need some information. Can you come in this morning? Yeah, I can do that. Great. We're at the 4th Precinct on Maple. Ask for me when you get here. Okay. He hung up. I sat there, heart pounding. Cody was fine, but the police wanted to talk to me. What the hell happened last night? I got dressed, drove to the station. The whole way there, my brain was spinning. Maybe he really was in the hospital and I was a terrible person. Maybe something awful happened and I'd ignored it. Maybe I'd made a horrible, unforgivable mistake. By the time I parked, I felt sick. I walked into the station, approached the front desk. I'm here to see Officer Martinez. The officer at the desk nodded. Have a seat. He'll be right with you. I sat in one of those plastic chairs that seem specifically designed to make you feel guilty. 5 minutes later, a guy in his 40s, Hispanic, tired eyes, appeared. Owen Morrison? That's me. I'm Officer Martinez. Thanks for coming in. Follow me. He led me to a small room. Not an interrogation room, just an office, desk, 2 chairs, a wilting plant in the corner. Another person was already there. Woman. Early 50s. Detective's badge. This is Detective Chen, Martinez said. Have a seat. I sat. They sat across from me. I tried not to look as terrified as I felt. So, Martinez started, your brother, Cody Morrison, you know him? Yeah, he's my younger brother. When's the last time you spoke to him? Maybe 3 weeks ago? Family dinner? And last night, did you speak to him? No. My mom called me at 2 in the morning, said he was in the hospital. Martinez and Chen exchanged a look. Did she say which hospital? Chen asked. She said St. Mary's, but she was vague about which location. What happened after that? I told her I'd call the hospital directly to verify. She got upset. I hung up. You didn't send any money? No. Why not? I hesitated. Because it sounded like a scam. My family has a history of exaggerating emergencies to get money from me. Martinez leaned back. Exaggerating how? Last time it was, Becca needs bail money. Turned out to be a parking ticket. Before that, Dad's stranded out of state. Turned out he just wanted gas money. It's always something urgent. Always at weird hours. Always me they call. Never my sister who actually has money. Chen made a note. So you suspected this was another false alarm? Yeah. Did you try calling the hospital yourself? No. I turned off my phone and went back to sleep. Martinez raised his eyebrows. You weren't worried? I was tired. If it was real, they'd call 911, not me. Chen leaned forward. Mr. Morrison, do you know where your brother was last night? No idea. He was at the Silver Star Casino, walked in around 9 p.m., lost about $8,000, then tried to get a marker for 15 more. They refused. He left around 1:30 a.m. I stared. He was gambling. Yes. So there was no hospital. Correct? I started laughing. I couldn't help it. It just came out. This exhausted, slightly hysterical laugh. Both officers looked at me like I'd lost my mind. I'm sorry, I said, trying to get control. I'm not, it's just, of course it was gambling. This is funny to you? Chen asked. No, it's predictable. My brother's always in trouble, always needs money, and my parents always cover for him. Martinez pulled out his phone. I'm going to call St. Mary's, all 3 locations, on speaker, just to confirm. Please do, he dialed. St. Mary's Medical Center, how can I help you? Hi, this is Officer Martinez with Metro PD. I'm trying to verify if you had a patient admitted last night. Cody Morrison. Keys clicking. A pause. No, sir. No one by that name. Thank you. He called the other two locations. Same answer. No Cody Morrison. I looked at both officers. So what's really going on? Detective Chen sighed. Your brother filed a police report this morning, at 6 a.m. For what? He claimed he was being held against his will, that people were demanding ransom money for his release. I blinked. What? Your parents called 911 at 3 a.m., reported that their son was in danger and you refused to pay the ransom. I felt the room tilt. They told the police I refused to pay a ransom. Yes? For a kidnapping that didn't happen. Correct. I put my head in my hands. Jesus Christ. Mr. Morrison, Chen said gently. We need to understand what happened. Your brother filed a false report. That's a crime. Your parents called 911 with false information. We need to know if this was coordinated or... It was a scam, I said, looking up. They needed $15,000, probably for Cody's gambling debt. They knew I wouldn't just hand it over, so they made up an emergency. When that didn't work, Cody panicked and escalated. Martinez nodded slowly. That tracks with what we're seeing. Where is he now? We picked him up an hour ago. He's here, being questioned. And my parents? On their way. Of course they were. I sat there in a police station, realizing my family had committed actual crimes trying to get money out of me. And somehow, I still felt guilty for saying no. Am I free to go? I asked. Yes, Chen said. But we might need to contact you again, for the investigation. Investigation? Filing a false police report is a crime. We have to follow up. I stood. Okay, anything you need. I walked out of that office, into the lobby, and there they were, Mom, Dad, looking frantic and exhausted. They saw me. Mom's face lit up with relief. Owen! She rushed over. I stepped back. Don't. Owen, thank God you're here. This is all a huge misunderstanding. Tell them what, Mom? That you lied to me? That you made up a fake hospital emergency? That you called the police and reported a fake kidnapping? Dad stepped forward. We were desperate. Cody's in real trouble. Cody's in trouble because he gambled away $8,000 and wanted 15 more. He made a mistake. And you enabled it, like you always do. He's your brother. And you're my parents. And you just committed a crime trying to scam me? People in the lobby were staring. I didn't care. Mom started crying. How can you be so cruel? He's family. So am I said quietly. But you only remember that when you need something. I walked past them, out the door, to my car, and drove away, leaving them standing there, in a police station, with consequences for once in their lives. And I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. I made it exactly 3 blocks before I had to pull over. Not because I was crying, not because I felt bad, because I was shaking so hard I couldn't hold the steering wheel. I sat in a Walgreens parking lot, hands gripping my knees, trying to breathe normally. My family had filed a false police report. They'd called 911 and lied to emergency services. They'd manufactured a kidnapping scenario, all to get $15,000 out of me, for Cody's gambling debt. My phone started ringing. I looked at the screen. Becca. I watched it ring. Let it go to voicemail. It rang again immediately. I turned the phone off. Sat there in silence. A woman walked past my car, saw me, looked concerned. Mouthed, "You okay?" I gave her a thumbs up. She didn't look convinced but kept walking. I turned my phone back on. Not to answer calls. To do something I should have done at 2 a.m. I opened my banking app, went to transaction history, and started counting. 3 years ago, 1,200. Emergency car repair for Dad. 2.5 years ago, $800. Becca's kids' medical bill. 2 years ago, $2,500. Cody's security deposit. 18 months ago, $600. Mom's dental work. 1 year ago, $3,000. Cody's apartment flood. 9 months ago, $450. Dad's phone broke. 6 months ago, 1-800. Becca's car insurance. 3 months ago, $700. Cody's job interview suit. I added it up. Over 3 years, I'd given my family $11,050. $11,000. And not once, had anyone paid me back. Not once had anyone even said thank you after the initial crisis. I screenshotted every transaction, saved them to a folder. Then I opened my email and started typing. To Becca Morrison. Subject. Since you're calling Becca, I'm not answering my phone, so I'll say this here. Cody wasn't in the hospital. He was at a casino. He lost $8,000 and wanted $15,000 more. When Mom's fake emergency didn't work, he filed a false police report claiming he was kidnapped. The police called me this morning. I spent 2 hours at the station. Cody is being charged with filing a false report. Mom and Dad might be charged as accomplices. This isn't my fault. This is what happens when you enable someone for 26 years. I've attached screenshots of every emergency payment I've made to this family over the last 3 years. Total, $11,050. I was never repaid, barely thanked. I'm done. Don't call me, don't text me, don't show up at my apartment. If there's ever a real emergency, verified by actual medical professionals or law enforcement, I'll reconsider. Until then, I'm out. Owen. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I forwarded the same email to my parents. My phone immediately started ringing. I turned it off again. Drove home. Made a sandwich. Ate it. And waited for the fallout. It came faster than I expected. Around 3 p.m., someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. Becca. Of course. I opened the door, but left the chain on. What? She looked furious. Designer sunglasses pushed up on her head. Yoga pants that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. The full, suburban mom about to ask for the manager energy. We need to talk, she said. No, we don't. Owen, this is ridiculous. You can't just... I can. I am. Go home, Becca. Our brother is in jail. He's at the police station being questioned. That's not jail. And he put himself there. Because you wouldn't help. Because he filed a false police report. That's a crime, Becca. A crime he committed. If you'd just sent the money, then what? He'd gamble it away and we'd be right back here next month? She opened her mouth. Closed it. Where's your $15,000, Becca? What? You're a lawyer. Your husband's a surgeon. You live in a house with 5 bedrooms. Where's your $15,000 for Cody? We have expenses. The kids. I have expenses too. Rent, utilities, student loans that you don't have because Mom and Dad paid for your law school. That's not... It's exactly fair. You got handed everything, and I got handed bills. And somehow I'm still the one they call at 2 a.m. You're being selfish. I'm being sane. There's a difference. She stared at me through the crack in the door. Mom's devastated, she said quietly. Mom lied to the police. She was trying to help Cody. She was trying to manipulate me, again. He's our brother. And I'm your brother too, but you didn't call me at 2 a.m. You didn't offer to help. You just assumed I would. Becca looked away. I don't have liquid cash right now. Yes, you do. You just don't want to spend it on Cody's gambling problem. That's not... It's true. You know it's true. And you know what? I don't blame you. I wouldn't spend it either. But I'm tired of being the only one expected to. She pulled her sunglasses down. So that's it? You're just cutting us off? I'm setting boundaries. If you can't respect them, then yeah. I'm out. Family doesn't work like that. Healthy family doesn't work like this. I closed the door, locked it. Heard her stand there for a minute. Then footsteps. Walking away. I sat on my couch and stared at the ceiling. My phone was still off. I left it that way. The next morning, I turned my phone on long enough to check messages. 63 new texts, 22 voicemails. I didn't read them, didn't listen. Instead, I called my boss. Hey, Sarah, I need to take a personal day. Everything okay? Family stuff. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care of yourself, Owen. I hung up. Then I called someone I hadn't talked to in 6 months. My therapist. Dr. Martinez? It's Owen Morrison. I know I canceled my last few appointments, but I think I need to come back in. She had an opening that afternoon. I sat in her office, familiar gray couch, box of tissues on the side table, that painting of a beach that's supposed to be calming, and told her everything. The 2 a.m. call, the police station, the emails. Becca at my door. She listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Relieved, guilty, angry, free. All of it at once." "That makes sense." "Does it? Because I feel like I'm losing my mind." "You set a boundary with people who've been violating your boundaries for years. That's hard, especially with family. Everyone thinks I'm the bad guy. Do you think you're the bad guy?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No," I said finally. "I think I'm tired of being the ATM." "Then you did the right thing." "It doesn't feel right." "Growth rarely does." I sat with that. "What happens now?" I asked. "Now you decide what kind of relationship, if any, you want with your family. You set boundaries, you enforce them, and you stop letting guilt dictate your decisions. What if they never change? Then you accept that, and you build a life without them." "That sounds lonely." "It sounds peaceful," she corrected gently. "There's a difference." I left her office feeling not better, but clearer. Like I'd been wandering in fog and someone had turned on a flashlight. Over the next week, I learned what happened to Cody. Not from my family, from a public records search. He was charged with filing a false police report. Misdemeanor. He pleaded guilty as part of a deal. Sentence: 6 months probation, 100 hours community service, $1,500 fine, and mandatory counseling for gambling addiction. My parents weren't charged. The DA decided they were misguided, but not criminal. I found out through a forwarded email from Aunt Linda. Subject: Family Update. Dear family, as many of you know, Cody had some legal trouble last week. He's accepted responsibility and is working on getting help for his gambling problem. We're all supporting him through this difficult time. Please keep him in your prayers. Linda. I deleted it. But I felt something. Not quite satisfaction. Not quite sympathy. Just acknowledgement that actions have consequences. Even for the baby of the family. 2 weeks after the incident, I got a letter in the mail. Physical letter. Handwritten address. From Cody. I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. "Owen, I don't know if you'll read this. I wouldn't blame you if you threw it away. But I need to say this, even if you never respond. I'm sorry. Not the fake sorry I've been saying my whole life when Mom made me apologize for stuff. Real sorry. I screwed up. Bad. I've been screwing up for years and everyone kept bailing me out so I never had to face it. The gambling thing started small. Just fun. Then it wasn't fun anymore, but I kept doing it anyway. And when I lost that money at the casino, I panicked. I didn't mean for it to go this far. The police report, the fake kidnapping, all of it. I was scared and stupid and I dragged you into my mess. You didn't deserve that. You've never deserved the way we treated you. I'm in therapy now. Court-ordered, but I'm actually going. Actually talking. And my therapist asked me to write letters to people I've hurt. You're at the top of that list. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to talk to me. But I wanted you to know that I see it now. How messed up it all was. How we used you. And I'm sorry. Cody, I read it 3 times. Set it down. Picked it up. Read it again. It sounded real. Not the manipulative, "I'm sorry you're upset," non-apology I was used to. Actual accountability. I didn't respond. But I didn't throw it away either. I put it in a drawer. And thought about it more than I wanted to admit. A month after everything exploded, I went on a date. Her name was Rachel. Software engineer at a different company. We'd matched on an app 3 weeks prior, but kept rescheduling because of my family chaos. Finally, we met for coffee. She was funny, smart, had this dry humor that made me actually laugh instead of polite chuckle. Halfway through, she said, "Okay, I have to ask. You've been distracted all afternoon. You good?" "Sorry, yeah, just family stuff. Want to talk about it?" I hesitated. First date. Probably shouldn't dump family trauma, but she was looking at me with genuine interest. Not pity, just curiosity. So I told her. The abbreviated version. The 2 a.m. call, the police station, the false report. She listened. When I finished, she said, "Your family sounds exhausting." I laughed. That's one word for it. You did the right thing, you know. Everyone keeps saying that. Because it's true. They committed crimes to guilt trip you into giving them money. That's not family. That's extortion with a blood relation. I blinked. That's the most accurate description I've heard. She shrugged. I'm good with words. Clearly. We talked for 3 more hours. Closed down the coffee shop. Walked around the block twice because neither of us wanted the date to end. When we finally said goodbye, she said, "I'd like to do this again, if you're interested." Very interested. Good. But next time, turn your phone off. Boundaries, remember? I smiled. Deal. I went home feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Like maybe, just maybe, I was building something new. Something that didn't involve emergency calls and fake crises. Something real. The next morning, my phone rang. Officer Martinez. I answered. Hello? Mr. Morrison, just wanted to give you an update. Okay. Your brother's case is closed. He's on probation, complying with all terms so far. That's good. And we've decided not to pursue charges against your parents. Lack of evidence of intent to defraud emergency services. Makes sense. But Owen, off the record? Yeah, you did the right thing. Not sending that money. People like your brother, they don't change until they hit bottom. You gave him that chance. I didn't do it for him. I know, but it helped anyway. We hung up. I sat there, coffee in hand, looking out my window. Thinking about Cody's letter, about Rachel, about the life I was building without my family's chaos. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. Not forgiveness, not reconciliation, just peace. 3 months passed. Not in a blur. Not in slow motion. Just normally. I went to work. Started dating Rachel, a software engineer I'd met on an app. Twice a week, coffee turned into regular dinners turned into something that felt real. I kept my phone on. But I'd changed my settings so calls from my family went straight to silent. So I'd know they called, but wouldn't be startled awake at 2 a.m. anymore. They called less frequently now. Once a week from mom, always voicemails. Always some variation of, "We miss you," mixed with, "You're being unreasonable." Becca stopped calling entirely after week 2. Dad sent one email. Subject line, "Disappointed." I deleted it without reading. And Cody? Nothing. Just that one letter sitting in my drawer. My therapist said I was grieving. "They're not dead?" I said. "No. But the relationship you wanted with them is? That's worth grieving." So I did. And slowly I started feeling lighter. Then, on a random Tuesday in November, everything shifted again. Rachel texted, "Thanksgiving plans?" I stared at the message. I hadn't even thought about it. Me. Literally nothing. Why? Rachel. Want to come to my family's thing? Fair warning. My mom will ask invasive questions. Me. That sounds amazing, actually. That evening, I got a call from Aunt Linda. "Owen, honey, your mother asked me to reach out about Thanksgiving." "I'm not coming," she sighed. "I know things have been hard, but it's the holidays." "Aunt Linda, they lied to police to scam money out of me. That's not family. That's fraud." "I know. I told your mother she was out of line. But she's trying, honey." "Is she? Or is she just embarrassed I'm not playing along anymore?" "Maybe both." I appreciated the honesty. "I have other plans," I said. "I'm going to my girlfriend's family's Thanksgiving." "You have a girlfriend? Oh, and that's wonderful." "Her name's Rachel. We've been seeing each other a couple months. And you didn't tell anyone? Who would I tell? The people who only call when they need money? That landed hard. I heard her inhale. That's fair, she said quietly. Will you at least think about reaching out someday? Maybe, but not now. Okay. And Owen, I'm proud of you for setting boundaries. That takes guts. My throat tightened. Thanks, Aunt Linda. Thanksgiving with Rachel's family was warm. Normal. Her parents welcomed me without ulterior motives. Nobody asked for money. Nobody compared me to anyone. During dinner, her mom asked, "Are you close with your family?" Rachel shot her a look. "Mom." "It's okay," I said. "Not really. We're kind of distant right now." Her dad jumped in. "Well, you're welcome here anytime. Anyone who makes our daughter smile like that is good in our book." I felt something warm spread through my chest. Acceptance. Not contingent on what I could provide. Just acceptance. After dinner, Rachel and I sat on the back porch. "Your family's great," I said. "They're embarrassing. They're welcoming. That's different." Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Unknown. "Owen, it's Cody. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I'm 90 days clean from gambling. Wanted you to know? No pressure to respond." I stared at the message. Rachel noticed. "Everything okay?" "My brother says he's 90 days clean from gambling." "That's good, right?" "I guess." I typed. "That's good. Keep it up." Short, not warm, but honest. He replied, "Thanks. That means a lot." "You didn't have to respond," Rachel said. "I know. But maybe he's actually trying. And if he is, then maybe someday we can talk. But not now." The Monday after Thanksgiving, I got an email from Mom. Subject: "We need to talk, Owen. I'm hurt you spent Thanksgiving elsewhere and didn't tell us you were seeing someone. I know we made mistakes with Cody, but we're your family. You can't just abandon us. Your father and I want to meet Rachel. We want to be part of your life. Please call me." "Mom?" I read it twice, then typed a response. "Mom, I didn't tell you about Rachel because we don't have that kind of relationship anymore. You say you made mistakes, but you haven't apologized. Not really. You just want me to get over it. If you want to be part of my life, here's what needs to happen. 1. A real apology. Acknowledge what you did wrong. 2. Respect my boundaries. No more emergency calls unless verified. 3. Equal treatment. Don't ask me for money while giving it to others. 4. No more guilt trips about, but we're family. If you can do those things, we can talk about rebuilding. If you can't, then we're done. Owen." I hit send, forwarded it to my therapist. "Too harsh?" she replied. "No, it's clear and fair. Good work." The fallout came fast. Dad's voicemail. "I don't appreciate the ultimatum. We're your parents. We deserve respect. You don't get to dictate terms to us." I deleted it. Becca's text. "Your email was cruel. Mom's been crying for 2 days. Is this really what you want?" I didn't respond. Cody's message. I read the email Mom forwarded. "I think you're right, for what it's worth." That one I answered. "Thanks." A week passed. No response from my parents. Then, finally, an email from Mom. Subject: "Okay, Owen, your father and I talked. We don't agree with everything you said, but we understand you're hurting. We're willing to try, to do better. We'd like to meet Rachel, on your terms, whenever you're ready. We love you." Mom. I read it several times. It wasn't everything I wanted, but it was something. A start? Maybe. I showed Rachel that night. "What do you think?" I asked. "What do you want?" "I don't know. Part of me wants to give them a chance. Part of me wants to stay away. Both can be true. What would you do?" "I'd probably give them one chance, but I'd be ready to walk away if they blew it." I nodded. "Yeah, that feels right." "When?" "Not soon. Maybe after the holidays. Let things cool down." "I'll be there," she said. I took her hand. "Thank you for not running when I dumped all this on you." She smiled. Please. My family's got drama too. My uncle collects taxidermied squirrels. I blinked. What? Dressed in little outfits, like 40 of them. That's horrifying. I know. So your family filing false police reports? 6 out of 10 on the dysfunction scale. I laughed. Actually laughed. And realized something. I was happy. Not perfectly happy. Not everything's fixed, happy. Just content with my life, my boundaries, my choices. And that was more than I'd ever had before. 6 months after the police station incident, I met my parents for coffee. Not at their house. Neutral ground. A Starbucks halfway between my apartment and theirs. Rachel offered to come. I told her I needed to do this alone. Call me if you need an escape route, she said, kissing my cheek. I will. I got there first, ordered black coffee, sat at a table in the corner where I could see the door. My hands were shaking slightly. I hated that they still had this effect on me. They walked in together. Mom saw me first. Her face lit up, relief mixed with nervousness. Dad nodded, his version of a greeting. They ordered. Sat down across from me. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Mom said, "You look good." "Thanks. How's work?" "Good." Another silence. Dad cleared his throat. "Your mother and we've been thinking a lot about what you said in your email." "Okay. We don't agree with all of it," he continued, "but we understand we hurt you, and we're sorry." I waited. "We're sorry," Mom echoed, "for lying about Cody's emergency, for putting you in that position, for—" Her voice cracked. "For taking you for granted." I looked at her. Really looked. She'd aged since I'd last seen her. More gray in her hair, lines around her eyes. "What about the pattern?" I asked. "Not just that one night. The years of treating me like the fallback option." Dad shifted uncomfortably. "We didn't see it that way. But that's how it was." He nodded slowly. "You're right. We pushed you aside. Prioritized Becca because she was easier to be proud of. Prioritized Cody because he needed more help. And I got lost in the middle." "Yes," Mom said quietly. "And we're sorry." I took a sip of coffee. Let that sit. "What about Cody?" I asked. "He's doing better," Mom said. "Still in therapy, still going to GA meetings. He's working at a warehouse. Nothing glamorous, but it's steady." "And the gambling?" "As far as we know, he's clean. 6 months now." I nodded. "That's good." "He asks about you," she added. "Wants to talk. But he understands if you're not ready." "I'm not." "That's fair." More silence. Then Dad said, "We'd like to meet Rachel, if you're willing." I thought about it. About bringing Rachel into this mess. About whether they'd earned that. "Maybe," I said. "But not yet. You need to prove you can respect my boundaries first." "How do we do that?" "Stop calling me for money. Stop guilt-tripping me. Show up for me the way you showed up for Becca and Cody." Mom looked confused. "Show up how?" "Call me just to talk, not because you need something. Remember my birthday without Facebook reminding you. Ask about my life because you care, not because you're making small talk." She looked stricken. "We do care." "Then show it." They both nodded. "We can do that," Dad said. "Okay, then we'll see." I stood up. The coffee was barely touched, but I was done. "Owen, wait," Mom said. "Will we see you at Christmas?" I paused. "I don't know. I'll think about it." "Okay, that's fair." I walked out. Got in my car, sat there for a minute, then called Rachel. "How'd it go?" she asked. "Better than expected, worse than I hoped." "Want to come over?" "Yeah, I really do." 2 weeks later, Cody called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. "Owen, hi. I wasn't sure you'd answer." I almost didn't. He laughed nervously. "Fair. Listen, I know you're not ready to talk, but I'm hitting 6 months clean next week, and my sponsor said I should reach out, make amends, if you're willing. I got your letter." I meant every word. I know. Silence. I'm not ready to forgive you, I said. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I understand. But I'm glad you're getting help. Thanks. That means more than you know. Keep going to meetings. Keep working on it. I will. And Cody? Yeah? Don't ask me for money, ever. If you relapse, if you get in trouble, call your sponsor. Call mom and dad. Don't call me. I won't, I promise. Okay. We hung up. And I felt lighter. Not because I'd forgiven him, but because I'd said what I needed to say. Christmas came. I didn't go to my parents' house. Rachel and I spent it at her parents' place. Then flew to Vermont for a long weekend. Stayed in a cabin, no cell service. Just us, snow, and silence. On New Year's Eve, she asked, "Do you regret it? Setting all those boundaries?" I thought about it. No. I regret that I had to, but I don't regret doing it. Do you think you'll ever be close with them again? I don't know. Maybe. But it won't be the same. And I'm okay with that. She kissed me. I'm proud of you. For what? For choosing yourself? That's hard. It was necessary. Still hard. We watched the fireworks from our cabin window, held each other, made promises for the new year. And I realized something. I'd spent so much of my life waiting for my family to see me, to value me, to choose me. But I'd finally learned to choose myself, and that was enough. In February, Mom started calling once a week, not to ask for anything, just to talk. At first, it was awkward, forced small talk about weather and work. But slowly, it got easier. She asked about Rachel, actually listened when I talked about her. She remembered my birthday, sent a card, called that morning just to say she loved me. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Dad sent occasional emails, articles he thought I'd find interesting. No lectures, no guilt trips, just connection. Becca reached out in March. "I'm sorry," she said over text, "for everything, for taking sides, for not seeing how they treated you. You deserved better." I didn't respond immediately. Took a few days to think. Then, "Thanks. I appreciate that." It wasn't forgiveness, but it was acknowledgement. And that was something. In April, Rachel and I got serious. She met my parents. Coffee, not dinner. 1 hour, neutral ground. Mom cried. Dad was awkward but kind. They asked Rachel about her work, her family. They didn't ask when we were getting married or having kids. Small victories. When we left, Rachel said, "That wasn't as bad as I expected." They're trying. Are you okay with that? I'm okay with them trying. I'm not okay with pretending the past didn't happen. That's fair. But maybe we can build something new, something healthier. I think that's possible. 6 months after our first coffee meeting, my parents invited Rachel and me to dinner. At their house. I hesitated. Memories of that table, those toasts, that feeling of being invisible. But Rachel squeezed my hand. "We can leave anytime. You're in control." So we went. Becca was there with her family. Cody was there. Sober, looking healthier than I'd seen him in years. We sat around the same table. But it felt different. Dad stood, raised his glass. "Here we go," I thought. "I want to make a toast," he said. I braced myself. "To Owen," he continued, "who taught us that love isn't obligation, it's choice, and respect isn't given, it's earned." I looked up, surprised. "We failed you for a long time," Dad said, his voice shaking slightly. "We took you for granted, treated you like you'd always be there no matter how we acted, and you proved us wrong." Mom was crying. "You set boundaries," he continued, "and we hated it, because it forced us to look at ourselves, at what we'd become." He raised his glass higher. "So thank you for not letting us get away with it anymore, for demanding better, and for giving us a chance to try." Everyone raised their glasses. "To Owen," they said. I looked around the table. At faces I'd known my whole life. Faces that looked different now. Older, humbler, trying. I raised my glass. To second chances, I said, and boundaries. We drank. And for the first time in my life, I felt seen at that table. Not as the ATM, not as the forgotten middle child. Just as Owen. And that was enough. After dinner, Cody pulled me aside. Can we talk? Just for a minute? Okay. We stepped onto the porch. Same porch where I used to sit as a kid, feeling invisible. I'm 9 months clean, he said. Got a promotion at work. Started dating someone who doesn't gamble. That's great, Cody. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I want you to know. I'm trying. Really trying. I looked at him. Saw genuine effort, genuine change. I see that, I said. Does that mean? It means I see it. That's all I can give you right now. He nodded. That's enough. That's more than enough. We stood there in silence. Then he said, You were right, you know. That night. When you hung up. About what? About all of it. I needed to hit bottom. And you gave me that. I didn't do it for you. I know. But it helped anyway. I thought about that. About how my boundary, my refusal, had inadvertently forced change. Keep going to meetings, I said. I will. And Cody? Yeah? Don't fuck this up, because I won't save you again. I know, and I won't ask you to. We went back inside. Rachel was talking to my mom. Actually talking. Laughing even. Dad was showing Becca's kids something on his phone. The scene looked normal, functional, almost healthy. It wasn't perfect, probably never would be. But it was better. And sometimes, better is enough. That night, driving home, Rachel asked, How do you feel? Weird. Good weird, but weird. Think you'll keep going to these dinners? Maybe once a month, with boundaries. What kind of boundaries? I leave if anyone asks for money. I leave if anyone guilt trips me. I leave if it stops feeling healthy. And if they respect that, then maybe we build something. Slowly. She smiled. I think that's wise. We drove in comfortable silence. Then I said, Thank you. For what? For being here. For not running when my family was a disaster. For supporting me through all of it. Owen, you set boundaries with people you love. That's one of the hardest things a person can do. I'm honored to witness it. I reached over, took her hand. I love you, I said. First time I'd said it. She squeezed my hand. I love you too. We drove home. To our life, our future. Built on choices, not obligations. On respect, not guilt. On love that was earned, not assumed. And that, finally, beautifully, was enough.